Day across the country, some stadiums opening at full capacity. The president calling that a mistake, as the CDC numbers show COVID was the third leading cause of death last year.
A fourth wave of the coronavirus is looming. Hospitalizations nationwide are up 6% in the last week. Still, authorities are easing more COVID restrictions. Georgia's governor is lifting many of the state's limits on gatherings, and New Orleans is increasing both outdoor and indoor capacity limits. More Americans are also traveling. United Airlines now reporting its first profitable month since the pandemic. And Delta will stop blocking middle seats on May 1st to accommodate more passengers.
That's ABC's Ike Jachi. More emotional testimony in the Derek Chauvin trial in Minneapolis. One witness broke down as police body cam video was shown on the day George Floyd died. Human smuggling up close. Sisters from Ecuador, ages 3 and 5, seen on video being dropped 14 feet off the Texas side of the border wall. El Paso Chief Border Patrol Agent Gloria Chavez.
We told them that not to be scared, that we're here for them and that we're going to take care of them, and that very soon, hopefully, we put them together with their mom in the United States, because that's the key, right? 7 of Hong Kong's leading pro-democracy advocates have been convicted of organizing protests in 2019 that triggered a crackdown on dissent. You're listening to ABC News.
Deep down, you knew it was coming, and you know there's nothing you can do to stop it. And now it's here. Tax-Bucketum! Federal debt now exceeds the size of the entire economy, and Congress continues to spend like drunken sailors. Taxes are going up, and your retirement savings are going to be taxed to smithereens. But there's one proven time-tested strategy that lets you legally pay zero taxes on your hard-earned retirement money. And you can learn all about it in a free report from Bank on Yourself. Get it now at LegallyPaidZeroTax.com. This strategy also grows your wealth safely and predictably every year, even when the market tanks. And it gives you penalty-free access to your savings. Yes, you can protect your money from the next stock market crash and from Tax-Mageddon. To get this free report and save your retirement, visit LegallyPaidZeroTax.com today. That's LegallyPaidZeroTax.com. LegallyPaidZeroTax.com.
A Florida congressman still trying to defend himself against sex trafficking allegations.
Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz firing back at allegations he had a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old. Investigators looking into the alleged relationship from 2 years ago and whether Gaetz possibly violated sex trafficking laws when he allegedly paid for travel and other expenses for the teen. Late today, sources telling ABC News that federal authorities have already interviewed multiple witnesses and that the probe into his conduct has expanded beyond Florida. The conservative firebrand and Trump ally insisting he is the victim, alleging extortion, claiming a former DOJ official reached out to his family just weeks ago.
ABC congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. With the Final Four in the men's college basketball tournament set for this weekend, the Supreme Court has been hearing arguments about the business of college sports. ABC's Andrew Dimbert says they center on whether the NCAA can limit benefits for student athletes.
The case is not about whether students can be paid salaries, but it's part of a larger debate about compensation for student athletes. 6 states have already passed laws allowing student athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness. As for the case at the Supreme Court, Justice Sonia Sotomayor expressed concern about the long-lasting effects the ruling could have on college sports.
The Pentagon awarding a $22 billion contract to Microsoft for its augmented reality headsets. They can be used to enhance what troops see on the ground. This is ABC News.
Trust is the fabric that holds our country together. It's imprinted in our hearts. Americans trust Valor Gold Group for the very same reason. Expert assistance with gold and precious metal IRAs. And the personal service customized to your investment needs. Turn precious metals into an easy IRA, and for a limited time, enjoy no setup fees and free coins with qualified purchases. When you invest with Valor Gold Group, call 800-218-6997. That's 800-218-6997. ValorGold.com.
Sharing.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395. In spite of the cold weather, spring and summertime's coming. You need that new tractor out there. Go see Phil at NC Tractor today. Get a good season special.
Good morning and happy Thursday. We could see a few showers for your Thursday morning commute, then drier weather with us midday and early this afternoon. The sunshine will pop out, but temperatures staying chilly today. Highs much cooler in the upper 40s and low to mid 50s. It'll be breezy at times as well this afternoon. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Freezing temperatures expected overnight tonight. We start in the upper 20s and low 30s Friday morning. More sunshine but cool Friday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
It did not get as cold last night around here as they first predicted, but tonight looks like it's going to be the booger. Mostly clear with lows around 27 here. Wind chill value as low as 20, and wind gusting to 22 miles per hour tonight. So tonight's going to be the cold one. Then tomorrow, sunny skies again. Easter Sunday morning looks like sunny skies with highs around 70. That'll be nice. Sunrise services and going to church, nice and cozy. Sunday night, clear, lows around 43, have 73 for the high on Monday, and again on Tuesday, high of 76, so getting back to warm by next week. But today, a little bit breezy. The wind's going to be blowing about 25 miles per hour. They gust up to 25 miles per hour, and highs around 49. Right now, we are at 41, so it doesn't go much further before it gets to our daytime high. Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you back with us. I sure did miss you folks yesterday morning. It was a booger around here without you. But thank goodness we're back on, and thanks for understanding and being tolerant with us. Those technical things happen from time to time, but we were able to get back on yesterday afternoon, maybe around 2 o'clock, maybe 2:30, somewhere along in there. But thank you for waiting on us. Now I have these death announcements. Carolyn Edwards Harden passed away March 30th. The funeral service will be held at 2 o'clock Friday, April 2nd in the Paget and King Chapel. Burial will follow in Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 o'clock prior to the service at the mortuary. The family suggests social distancing protocols be observed. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Carolyn Edwards Harden. Andrew Pletz, age 74 of Forest City, went home to be with the Lord on Friday, March 26th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A memorial service will be conducted at 7 o'clock Friday, April 2nd, at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with those arrangements for Andrew Pletz of Forest City. Dave Kager Cox Sr., age 78, passed away Thursday, March 25th at his residence. A celebration of Dave's life will be held 2 o'clock on Sunday, April the 11th, at the Marvin Stafford Residence, 125 Hinton Road, Forest City. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Dave Kager Cox Sr. Elvira Elaine Walford, age 94, died March 17th at Elmcroft of Hendersonville. A celebration of life will be held at Fairfield Mountains Chapel, Lake Lure, 2 p.m. Sunday, April 24th. And Elaine will be buried at West Point Cemetery with her late husband, Lieutenant Colonel Harold Walford. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Elvira Elaine Walford. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others, join us at 11:35 as they become available to us. We'll have them at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report. Or you can contact the local funeral home to pay your respects online. Well, today, of course, a big day in the world of baseball as baseball season starts today, and our Braves game starts today. 1:50 will be airtime for that game with the Phillies, and we'll have all the Braves action as best we can this summer. And the Braves schedules have not yet arrived. I don't know if they'll be doing those this year or not, but when they do get here, we will pass that information on to you so you get one of those pocket schedules and follow. We also have a football game tonight and tomorrow night. Mr. Friday Night will be on with me on Thursday, a little after 8 o'clock this morning, to talk about tonight's lineup and tomorrow's lineup, all right here.
Not very long ago, the story you're about to hear would have been shocking. Today, it's routine. The story starts July 12th. 20-year-old Alejandro Maldonado Hernandez was arrested after a street race crash that killed an Oregon woman and severely injured her husband. Mr. Maldonado Hernandez was jailed on charges of felony manslaughter in the second degree, felony assault in the third degree, misdemeanor reckless driving added on. Alejandro Maldonado Hernandez is an illegal immigrant. On July 16th, United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement issued a detainer at the Washington County Jail in Oregon so that if Maldonado Hernandez was granted bail, he would immediately be taken into federal custody. On August 8th, Mr. Hernandez was granted bail, but the detainer issued by ICE was ignored. The Washington County Sheriff's Department says that federal ICE detainers are not lawful or enforceable in Oregon. So this past Tuesday, ICE announced that investigators have learned that Alejandro Maldonado Hernandez fled to Mexico to avoid prosecution, meaning that the felony manslaughter, assault, and reckless driving charges lodged against him are now unenforceable. Liberals in Washington County, Oregon, have got to be very pleased. They have raised the middle finger at their enemies, the American people, who want immigration law enforced. Death and injury of American citizens, basically meaningless in liberals' worlds.
Financial advisors, remember when your job was fun? I'm Ron Kraszewski, CEO of Stifel, and at our firm, it still is fun. Here, you'll find the culture and values of the past, along with the technology and vision of the future. Stifel is a firm built by advisors for advisors, a place where you can better serve your clients and have some fun again in our business. Visit ChooseStifel.com to learn more about the investment firm you've been waiting for.
Poor Sam was a mess. Always itching, licking. His paws were soaking wet. He had bald spots on his back. DINOVITE.com. 2 weeks after he started Dynamite, I started seeing great improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent.
Dynamite is nutrition.
Dynamite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynamite from DINOVITE.com.
Be careful. 100.9 FM and 590 AM may be good for your health. Positive, family-friendly radio for the foothills.
Your 2021 Atlanta Braves are ready to defend their division crown and take Atlanta baseball fans on another fun ride.
And it's hit in the air to right field and deep. Conforto going back at the wall. It's gone! Marcell Ozuna to the opposite field has tied the game of the night.
And join us as we bring you another exciting season of Atlanta Braves baseball right here on your home for the Braves. We are 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Good morning. Good morning.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
McCurry-Deck Motors has been providing the stylish Buick for families for generations. Come browse a new selection and you'll find the car that everybody's talking about. The family-owned dealership is deeply entrenched in our community. They understand the needs of the customers and will work with them to find the perfect car, truck, or crossover for their lives. Experience the new Buick at McCurry-Deck Motors. Take a look around the website to learn more about everything offered at McCurry-Deck Motors, 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City.
On April 1, 1877, a young prospector named Ed Shefflin arrived at Fort Huachuca in southern Arizona. He said he was going into Apache County and try his hand at prospecting. They told him the only thing he would find there would be his tombstone. By October, he had run out of supplies and money. Not willing to give up, he kept looking and was rewarded with the discovery of a silver vein 7 inches wide by 50 feet long. Ed Shefflin named his mine the Lucky Cuss. Remembering the remarks of the soldiers that all he would find would be his tombstone, Ed founded the Tombstone Mining District. When word got out of a silver strike, prospectors came from everywhere. Next came the gamblers and the ladies of the evening. Within 3 years, the town comprised of almost 500 buildings, with more than 100 of them selling liquor, and half of these were houses of ill repute. Tombstone did have 2 newspapers and a hall built to attract legitimate theatrical endeavors. There were also churches and schools that, incidentally, were supported by a tax on the gambling halls and houses of ill repute. 9 years after that first discovery of silver, water flooded the mines, and the population of Tombstone dwindled down to a few hardy souls. But during that short period, the people who came through Tombstone read like a who's who of the Old West. This was not only because of the attraction of silver, story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Thank you, Dakota Lipsay, for that information on the Wild Wild West. 16 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday morning. Let's go to the phones now, find out what's been going on. And Sheriff Chris Francis is on with us this morning to give us that update from his department. Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Can you believe we have baseball and football all in the same day?
I tell you, it makes for good times. It's a little bit strange, but it makes for good times.
Best of both worlds, baseball and football, all in the same day. It is different.
That's exactly right. It is different, but looking forward to what's going to feel like a real football night tomorrow night for some football Friday night. It's going to be chilly, but looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And a game, there's 2 games tonight and 2 games tomorrow night, so we got two nights of cool weather for football.
Sounds good.
Sir, tell us what's been going on in your department.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 110 calls to service, and then 14 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 149. Among those arrested, Alexis Cornelia Green, 32-year-old female of Mooresboro, was charged with accessory after the fact of a felony, received a $130,000 secure bond. Ezra Matthias Bryant, 20-year-old male of Hendersonville, was charged with failure to appear, received a $500 secure bond. Betty Louise Weeks, 64-year-old female of Boston, was charged with failure to appear, received a $14,000 secure bond. Dakota Graham Jenkins, 22-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with larceny, received a $1,000 secure bond. Stephen Wayne Blanton, 43-year-old male of Lincolnton, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Joshua Adam Price, 23-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $7,500 secure bond. Kaylee Sabrina Holland, 26-year-old female of Boston, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $500 bond. Jennifer Watts, 46-year-old female of Ellenboro, was charged with possession of stolen property and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Among her incidents, we recovered a stolen tag. It was Paul Young North 3478 or PYN 3478, recovered at Newhouse Road, and that is where Jennifer Watts was taken into custody in possession of that tag, and it had been recently stolen out of Rutherford County. Jim, that's what we had to report today.
All right, Sheriff. Thank you so very much for that. Any new leads on the horse shooting yet so far?
Unfortunately not. They have been following what they have, and again, if anybody has information, we would appreciate a phone call and like to solve that one. That was just a horrendous act.
Yeah. All right, Sheriff, thanks so very much. You have a safe day out there and enjoy Easter weekend.
You too. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sheriff Chris Francis reporting in this morning. It's 19 minutes after the hour. Some of you were smart and waited till after this cold snap to do your planting. Probably smart. And if you have waited and have not yet gotten your planting seeds, now's the time to go up to a Washburn store. While you're in there, have a good hot cup of coffee to cool you, warm you up for this cool day. And they'll take care of it. They got all kinds of planting seeds of all kinds there. And it is time for planting. After this cold snap's over with, you'll be able to do that. And they would like to take care of it. They got all kinds of things there to help you do that work. Some work gloves and some work tools to dig in the dirt a little bit. They got hammers. They got nails. And they got good food in the cooler back there, good drinks. It's a fun place to shop. It really is. And I hope as friends come in this summer, spring and summer, you'll tell your friends, we got to go to Washburn store. I want you to see Washburn store because it is that kind of store. It's a great tourist store, plus it's a great store for locals. Between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway, that's where you'll find Washburn store. Here is Amanda now. Amanda's reporting to us from 911 Communications Center. Amanda, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 403 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 42 for the emergency medical services, 20 for rescue, 110 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 89 for Forest City, 1 for Lake Lure, 36 for Rutherford, and 47 for Spindale. Ellenboro Fire Department had a residential fire alarm. Forest City had a motor vehicle crash. Rutherford had a motor vehicle crash, and SDO had a residential fire alarm. That is all.
Thanks so much. You have a great day now.
You too.
Bye. Well, the officers of the Forest City Police Department are requesting our help in identifying a suspect involved in a break-in and entering with larceny that occurred at Legacy 73 signs, which were normally Lipscomb signs, on Friday, March 26th. The suspect is a white male wearing a gray baseball hat, gray tank top, and black pants. He also has multiple tattoos on his left arm. That's the picture they made of him while he was there. So if you know somebody that fits that description, please contact Sergeant Brad Moore at Forest City Police Department at 245-5555. The larceny occurred at Legacy 17 signs, which was Lipscomb signs, used to be, on Friday, March 26th. Again, the suspect is a white male wearing a gray baseball hat, gray tank top, and black pants. He also has multiple tattoos on his left arm. If you know somebody like that fits that description, please contact Sergeant Brad Moore at Forest City Police Department at 245-5555. Here is Ruby Taylor reporting from Danieltown Fire District. Ruby, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. What's on your report today?
They had a residential fire alarm, and on my birthday calendar, I've got Scott Vickers and Christina Putman having birthdays today. And hope they have a nice day, and the signs are in the thighs today and tomorrow. And Jim, that's all I got.
Ruby, we missed you yesterday to wish you a happy birthday, so happy 91st birthday on this day after.
Well, thank you.
I hope you had a good one and hope you'll continue to have many more of them.
Well, thank you.
I'll see you now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
22 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. We love to celebrate birthdays here on WCAB. And we'll do that in about 25 minutes from now.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Well, Gary Wilson's on sabbatical these next couple of days and will not be with us until maybe next week. But we are happy to move on over to Hudlow Fire District. That's where our friend Bob Hodge is located and living, and having a good morning so far, I hope, Bob.
We are. We're having a good morning on this April Fool's Day.
Yes, I know. I hope nobody plays a trick on you today.
Well, I hope not there, but I remember years ago when you played a trick there on the radio station, though.
Oh, boy, I had the county tore up, didn't I?
That's right. Everybody believed you sold it there, so. It had everybody tore up that year, yeah.
I still have people talking about that to me. I tell you, that was a spur-of-the-moment decision to do that kind of thing, and it was right about the time they were talking about all the jobs going to Mexico and the thing that the president had signed and all the jobs are going overseas. I thought, well, it'd be a good thing to mention that some folks in Mexico bought the station and sort of jerking it right out from under me, and this is going to be the last day you hear the gospel hour, last day you hear the morning report, and I milked that for all it's worth.
Well, I tell you, you had a lot of people disturbed that day there, yeah.
Well, I'm glad it was just a joke.
I know it there. We're glad it was there. Well, Jim, things going along good up here this morning with the fire department. It's quiet overnight. Hadn't had any fire call. Want to say happy birthday to Ray Hodge this morning. And other than that, things going along good. And maybe that wind won't get up and blow like they thought it might be. So. Well, but at least the sun's shining.
Yeah, that's going to be a good thing. The wind's supposed to gust to about 25 miles per hour today, so that's pretty breezy.
Oh, that's pretty breezy, especially when it's chilly out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yeah, just everybody, just get out and be careful. And don't get no tree limb blowed off on you or something there when
That's always
when you're
fear.
walking. But Jim, that's about it. You take care and you have a good day over there.
Bob, thank you, and you too, and I'll see you on Good Friday.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 7:25 here on this Monday, Thursday at WCAB. Next phone call coming up right after this.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Now let's check in with the Cherry Mountain Fire District community. And Sue Price, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Well, we got our second shot on Monday, and we didn't have any problem with it, so that was good. And
good.
glad to have that over with.
Well, you should feel more comfortable, more relaxed now to know that's behind you.
Yes. Well, let's see. I have the fire department had one automobile accident. Don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my calendar for today, and nothing on Fairviews for today. And I don't have First Broad yet, so not too many celebrating today that I know of. And I want to give yesterday's birthdays since we missed them, and let them wish them a happy day. I got Ruby Taylor on my personal calendar, and Ron and Sybil Hauser having had an anniversary. And on First Broads, they had Jimmy Hauser, and Fairview had David Brandel. So I hope those folks had a good day, and we wanted to wish them a good day, one day late. But we'll just let them celebrate another day.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed a lot of birthdays by not being here yesterday morning, but we'll make it up today, hopefully.
Yeah. In my announcements, the blood drive at Golden Valley Community Club, April the 12th from 3 to 7 p.m. So come on out if you can give blood. It's always needed, and you never know who's going to need it. Also on Saturday, April the 17th, a barbecue, smoked chicken, and pulled pork supper at the Rutan Hopewell Hollis Clubhouse, 2500 Hollis Road, Ellenboro, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Adults are $10. Children are 6 and under. 6. Anyway, children 6 to 12 are $5. And we hope they'll have a good turnout for that. They always do. It's always a good meal. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's quiet and calm over this way. So far, we hope that wind don't get too bad, and hope we don't have a tree down on the power line. That's what I dread.
I know. I always think about that.
I don't either. Well, I hope you'll have a good day today, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. You too, and I will see you on Good Friday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 29 minutes after 7, and right now we are at winds relatively calm and 41 degrees.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. They continue to strive hard to keep that honor. Come on in and see for yourself. Take a look at the all-new design 2021 F-150 or reserve an all-new 2021 Bronco coming in the spring. Don't miss out on the automobile you've been wanting at the Sisk Family Ford price. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesman at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Hungry, everybody? Well, if you're hungry, let's head over toward the Drop-In Family Mart in Bostic. And Jessica's got some breakfast cooking. Good morning, Jessica. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You tired already?
I am tired. Everybody come on down this morning and see me. I'm here. I got sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, gravy biscuits, steak biscuits. If you want an omelet, I can fix you an omelet. So everybody come on down and see me. We got fresh coffee, cappuccino on this cold, chilly morning. It's pretty chilly out there. So everybody come get you some coffee if you like coffee. Today in the meat department, we have ribeyes on sale for $9.99 a pound. That's a good deal. So if you want some ribeyes for Easter Sunday or whatever you want, come on down and see us. Our truck come in yesterday morning. We have fresh produce, milk, all your needs we should have. If we don't have, just let us know and we can maybe order it for you and it'll come in next week. Keep in mind our hours are Monday through Friday. It's usually from 6 to 9, but for right now, until we can get more help, it's from 6 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturdays it's 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then Sundays, I think this will be the last Sunday that we're going to be closed. The store will be closed. Starting next week, we'll be open back up from 11 to 6. So everybody come down and see us, and I hope everybody has a good Easter.
Hey, listen, would you fix a double cheeseburger this morning for breakfast for someone?
I would. But he did an April Fool's on me.
Yeah, see, I heard he did. Yeah, he tried to.
I kind of hesitated there for a minute, and I was like, yeah, I can.
You're all right, Jessica. You're doing a good job over there.
Well, thank you.
And I hope you have a good Easter, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's Jessica there in the deli at the Family Mart, Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston. Todd went in this morning, played a little trick on her, and got her really tickled. 7:33 right now. We're moving on over to a next phone call right after we visit RS Express.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Well, let's check and see if things have been quiet or if they've been busy up in the Shingle Hollow Fire District. And Tina White's on the phone to give us that news. Tina, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It's a beautiful Thursday. It's going to be chilly and windy today, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty one.
Well, I'd rather see it like this than that stormy day we had the other day.
I know. I missed yesterday morning. I thought, now what's going on around here?
You know, that should have happened today, and I could have said April Fool's on everybody, but...
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not fun being off the air like that. Well, we sure missed you folks.
And we missed the radio station when it's not on. And my day's not the same now because it's just part of my routine.
Well, thank you.
So the fire departments, neither one have sent me anything, so I'm thinking that they must have been all quiet or they've been real busy. And I'm thinking it's all quiet. And it's 41 degrees out here on my front porch. Birthdays yesterday, Pleasant Grove had 2 for Randy Darley and Tom Laterio. And there's none on either calendar for today, but I have one on my personal calendar, a school friend, Miss Tanya Van Dyke. I'll always remember her birthday because it's April Fool's Day. Hope she has a good birthday, and I hope those had a good birthday yesterday. And I got the message about the fire department having the medical responder class at Shingle Hollow Fire Department. For this summer, there's going to be 96 hours, and the person to call is Miss Amanda Watson, and her phone number is 287-4732. So anybody that's interested in that, this would be a good time to do it.
All right. Sounds like it's pretty quiet up there. Thank you for doing a good job.
It is. We're going to be having an Easter egg hunt at Piney Knob Baptist Church Saturday from 2 to 4. All kids are welcome to come, and parents if they want to hunt eggs, and anybody else. And then sunrise service at 7. So anybody looking for a sunrise service up here in Shingle Hollow, you're welcome to come join Piney Knob Baptist.
They've had some good ones in the past.
Yes, and I think this one's going to be a good one, too.
Good. All right,
All
Tim.
right, have a great day. Don't let too many people fool you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. That's Tina reporting out of the Shingle Hollow Fire District. Also, she looks after the Green Hill Fire Department as well with our news. It's 7:36. Remember, Sunday morning is always special because we have a lot of great programs from churches and ministers on Sunday mornings. But this coming Sunday morning, we had a time slot there at 8:30. We're going to do a program called Love Lifted Up. It's a very special Easter program filled with hope, music, and stories of the resurrection of Jesus. So tune in early on Sunday morning, and then stay tuned for 8:30. Then we have other services on Sunday morning as well. We'd love you to listen to them and see what that's about. I think you'll be blessed from having done so. Let me see if I can reach Brenda Kelly up on the hill this morning. Brenda Kelly, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm sick.
Oh, you sound like you must be stopped up.
Yeah, I am. Oh, goodness.
Is it the springtime?
Yeah, I get like this just about every year. But
well, you live amongst a lot of trees and vines and plants up there, so I guess it's
I sure do.
comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But this too will pass.
It will. You'll be happy before you know it.
I know it. I just hope it's better before Sunday because Saturday too, I got a memorial service Saturday afternoon, and I wanted to go to sunrise service in church Sunday, but if I'm still like this, I won't go. Because people they don't like to be around anybody that's not feeling up to par.
You know, you can have allergies, and people think you got the COVID.
Yeah, well, I've had my shots, which means I can still get COVID, but I don't have a fever, and I'm not coughing, and I've just been sneezing.
Yep. I've been doing a lot of that myself.
It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I want to wish Ruby Taylor a happy birthday for yesterday. I didn't get to do that, so we hope she had a good day yesterday. And I don't think I have any birthdays for today, no. I've got 34 degrees on the front porch. That's cold, ain't it?
That is cold.
And in ways of announcements, Far City Church of the Nazarene will have sunrise service at 7:30 a.m. Easter Sunday, breakfast to follow, Sunday school at 9:45, and worship at 10:45, and everyone welcome. And other than that, I don't have a whole lot right now.
Are you taking anything for your allergies?
No, I can't take a whole lot of stuff. I think it has settled in my sinuses, and when I take sinus medicine, it makes my heart beat too fast.
Yeah.
I just have a time. Anyway, it'll be all right.
Have to live with it till it's over.
That's right.
I hope it'll be over soon. I hope by the weekend you'll be good as normal.
Well, I hope so too. But you have a good week, good day, and you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan, see if everything's all right in Ellenburg.
I'll see you on Good Friday.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye. That's Brenda Kelly reporting from Union Mills with our report, 7:40, and we will check on the news from Ellenboro, given to us by Luther Gilligan in just a moment.
Good morning. As we are experiencing the impact of COVID-19, let's stop predicting and let's prepare. Life changes, and then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called the unexpected. So when it comes to your financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Andrew Tisdale. A job loss, a change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call me today at 828-287-9197. Our office is located at Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. This is Edward Jones, making sense of investing, and a member of the SIPC. Bye.
Willard Whitson, the Executive Director of Kid Census, is going to be my guest this morning here in the Blue Room at 8:30. Talk about the progress that's being made over there and the new opportunities for kids coming up. And we'll get updated on that with Willard this morning at 8:30. Mr. Friday Night will be on this morning on Thursday morning to give us updates on tonight's high school football games. Right now, though, we're going over to Ellenboro, and Mr. Ellenboro himself, Luther Gilligan, will give us an update on what's been happening with the fire department and other community news. Luther, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Wonderful. How are you?
Hey, we're doing great on this holiday.
It is holiday for some.
It is. See, we have Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and then it comes our day, April Fool's Day.
Well, yes, you're right about that.
So we have a good time today. But it's quiet down here this morning, not a whole lot going on. See, the fire department had 4 medical calls, 1 fire alarm yesterday and last night. They're quiet this morning, nothing going on down there. But hey, we're going to have something going on there Saturday from 11:30 to 1:30 there at Bethel Church Family Life Center. We're going to be having drive-through Easter egg extravaganza. They come on by, kiddies get their goodies and have a hot dog lunch to go with it. Then Sunday morning, 7:30, we're going to be having sunrise service there at the Memorial Garden there. And then Monday, from 3 to 7:30 down here at the fire department, we're going to be having blood drive. So everyone just stop by and do a little pint of blood and make you feel better. And it won't take me just a few minutes to do it. And Jim, nothing else going on down here. You have a good day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Look over your shoulder today. Somebody's going to play a prank on you.
Yeah, well, they be asking me. I have to look over my shoulder all the time.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Somebody be asking me. All right, good.
Bye-bye. Lucy Gilligan reporting this morning from Ellenboro. It's 7:43, and it's time for birthdays and anniversaries, and we're happy to take yours right now if you'll call us in. Call it in to us at 287-3356, and we'll take yesterday's birthdays, too. If you had one yesterday, we did not get it on, call that in, and we'll honor them on the second day after the fact. So call now at 287-3356, birthdays and anniversaries coming up. Now, wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you, and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net.
It's great to get discounts on beautiful furniture, and thanks to the Recliner Center, you can get 10% off everything in the store. 10% off lift chairs, 10% off sofas, 10% off recliners, 10% off bedding. Angela has changed her hours to suit your schedule. The Recliner Center is now open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. And, of course, you can make an appointment by calling 828-395-3562. Come by soon and pick out the recliner, sofa, or lift chair that best suits you and get 10% off your purchase. Come by and see Angela Cooper at the Recliner Center today. The Recliner Center is on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Want to wish a happy birthday wish to Marsha King of Greenhill. Marsha works at DSS. I'll take it right here. Got a lot of things up there. Also celebrated yesterday was Dale Baumgardner and Rita Hudson. I wish these folks from yesterday a happy birthday. And Marsha King today, happy birthday. You didn't get any called in time? Nobody else celebrated today. I best we can tell. Right now, though, we're going to go to Keys to Confident Living, come back and take you down memory lane with a couple of oldies but goodies songs. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock, 8:05, Mr. Jay Coombs will be talking with us about tonight's high school football. Mr. Friday night will be Mr. Thursday night tonight, as well as tomorrow night. And then at 8:30 this morning, Willard Whitson, he's the Executive Director for Kid Census, will be in the studio with me to talk about what's happening over there with their progress, all straight ahead, exclusively here on the Morning Wake Up Call, WCAB.
How many times have I thought I could handle everything by myself? I didn't need anyone or anything to help me. I've also been wrong about that many times. I was reminded of a story in InfoSearch about a new child in school. It was the first day of school, and the kindergarten teacher asked the children what they wanted to be when they grew up. One little boy spoke importantly. Well, when I grow up, I'm going to be a lion tamer. I'll have lots of fierce lions and tigers, and I'll walk in the cage. He hesitated and then continued. But of course, I'll have my mother with me. What we really need to be saying is, I'll do such and such with God's help. The Apostle Paul prayed for some of his church members to be strengthened on the inside when they walked into a lion's den, figuratively and literally. He was concerned that they would not fold under the pressure of criticism or persecution. Therefore, he prayed for them to be strengthened on the inside, in their inner being. The pressure on the inside pushing out is what keeps a balloon inflated. In the same manner, we need God's Spirit sustaining us on the inside. The little boy in our story wanted his mother in the lion's den. But we need the supernatural power of Almighty God. Today you may be faced with pressures almost more than you can bear. Why not ask God for the inner strength available through His Spirit? This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
Late birthdays called in this morning. Want to wish Gary Harden a happy birthday, and also Charles Martin. Want to wish them a happy birthday this morning as well. Right here on WCAB's Morning Wake Up Call. My name's Bishop. Jim Bishop.
We pulled you away from all the news of the day with classic oldies.
from ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. 4 people, including 1 child, shot and killed in Southern California. The country's latest mass shooting began in an office building in the town of Orange, southwest of Los Angeles. ABC's Kaylee Hartung, who is on the scene, says the gunman and another woman were also critically wounded.
One surviving female victim rushed to the hospital, also in critical condition. The FBI and local police now investigating a deadly mass shooting, blood-stained clothing, and this firearm left behind on the sidewalk, though officials are not confirming whether it was the weapon used in the rampage.
At this point, there's no word on a motive. In Minneapolis, another emotional day at the Derek Chauvin murder trial.
Using police body cameras coupled with surveillance footage and bystander video, the jury has seen the struggle between George Floyd and police from virtually every angle. And they've heard emotional testimony from a number of first-hand witnesses who described the shock of what they saw and the emotional toll it's taken on them. The defense has yet to lay out its case.
That's ABC's Mark Rumillard. A major manufacturing malfunction at a facility making vaccines. As a result, 15 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson shot had to be tossed. J&J says none of the defective vaccine made its way into people's arms. It's opening day. All 30 baseball teams are back in action today, welcoming at least some fans into ballparks amid the pandemic.
Until recently, the only folks coming here to Yankee Stadium were seeking a vaccine. Now there's a giant sign that says, "Welcome back, fans." The weather's not so welcoming for the Yankees opener against the Blue Jays, but the rain should subside for the first pitch that will be witnessed by a crowd for the first time since before the pandemic.
ABC's Erica Tursky, Yankee Stadium in New York. Some stadiums plan to let fans back in at full capacity. Others have blocked off seats. Elbow room will soon be a thing of the past. If you're flying commercially in the U.S., Delta's announced starting next month it's going to begin booking middle seats again. This is ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
The Biden administration launching a new campaign to try and get more people to sign up for COVID shots. ABC's Andy Field with details.
The Biden Get Vaccinated push will unite nearly 280 community, health, faith, and union groups, even enlist sports teams to convince Americans they should get the vaccine. This ad aimed at African Americans.
So let's protect our lives with vaccines we can trust.
Other public service announcements showing Americans with just vaccinated and bandaged arms saying, "This arm has the power to lift us all." Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Tennessee Republicans are backing a new bill that would remove background checks and training requirements for anybody looking to buy a handgun. The push coming despite opposition from law enforcement groups. Governor Bill Lee calls it a top priority for his administration. Shortages of computer chips putting the brakes on production at Ford. The company says a truck plant in Kansas City will take a week of downtime starting on Monday. The truck plant in Dearborn, Michigan will be offline for 2 weeks. And new life for an old Macy's location in Burlington, Vermont. It's now a high school. Over $3 million was spent to retrofit the store into a school after the old location had to be closed because of toxic chemicals were found there. The cafeteria is in the spot that once housed the Michael Kors collection. The library is in the old China department. This is ABC News.
The border is in crisis. President Trump secured the border, but Biden is spending $86 million on hotel rooms for migrants. Now, Grant Stinchfield investigates Biden's executive orders and dangerous policies. Watch Stinchfield on Newsmax TV tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern as he reveals the dangers. Find Newsmax TV on all major cable systems or get it free on Roku, YouTube, Xumo, Pluto, and smart TVs. Plus, download the free Newsmax app on your phone. Help protect our border. Watch Newsmax TV's Stinchfield tonight.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hello and happy Thursday. We'll see more sunshine across the area early this afternoon, seeing a partly cloudy to eventually a mostly sunny sky. And temperatures, though, staying chilly, highs in the upper 40s and low to mid 50s. It'll be rather breezy at times today, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Mostly clear, cold tonight. We start below freezing and in the upper 20s and low 30s Friday morning. More sunshine likely Friday afternoon, but temperatures staying cool as well. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Well, it looks like the freezing temperature is coming tonight rather than last night. Last night was not that bad. Right now it is 40 degrees and mostly sunny skies out there with wind gusting today about 25 miles per hour. But tonight, lows around 27 with the wind chill values low as 20 and wind blowing up, gusting up to about 22 miles per hour. But the rest of the weekend, beautiful. Easter Sunday morning's perfect. Highs around 70 and sunny skies. Well, it is cold weather. And that makes football season more important, I guess, or interesting. And it's been a crazy few months, and it's crazy here in the football world because there's football games tonight, and Mr. Friday Night is on Thursday morning to give a report. Mr. Friday Night, Jay Coombs, good morning.
Well, good morning, Jim.
How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. This is a crazy week.
Isn't it?
Trying to keep up with the schedule for high school football, it has been a big challenge. We were supposed to have a game last night. That game, Charleville at Christ the King, was postponed. And get a load of this. They will play tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. And I can't remember the last time we had a game on a Friday afternoon. But that... Wow. Yeah, what a week it has been. And I had planned to come on this morning. I had this really cool April Fool's joke all ready to go. And then the news came out of Columbus yesterday. And this is sad. It is the closest to us that COVID has come into play. And Polk County over in Columbus, we don't know the extent, but they've had an outbreak of COVID on the football team. Therefore, their game tomorrow night up at Mitchell has been canceled. And with the protocol now in place, no official word, but I don't see how it will be possible for Polk to play Mountain Heritage next week. That game tomorrow night up at Mitchell was huge. Both undefeated in the Western Highlands Conference. Mitchell folks are just really upset. It was going to be their homecoming. It was going to be their senior night. But at this point, with Polk County now going into the COVID-19 protocol, it doesn't look like those two teams will play in the regular season. Now, we have been lucky, knock on wood. Here in Rutherford County, our COVID issues have been very minimal, and it is a strange week because we have a couple of games involving teams tonight. We have a big game tomorrow night. In fact, I'll save all of the hype until tomorrow morning, but that game tomorrow night in Rutherfordton, Chase at RS Central, homecoming for the Hilltoppers tomorrow night. But that game is huge as far as playoff possibilities. I tell you, fans, if you would like to get a ticket for the Chase at RS Central game, I highly suggest call Central today. I expect that all of the tickets will be sold out for tomorrow night up in Rutherfordton. But tonight, one of our teams on the road, East Rutherford. Cavaliers make the trip to Gaston County tonight. They will face East Gaston. Both of these teams are winless so far. Both are 0-5 overall. They are looking for their first win, and somebody's going to have to get it tonight. So East Rutherford and East Gaston, that game moved. It will be played tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff at East Gaston. And excited to be back in Avondale tonight. It will be our first look this season at the Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy Griffins. Now, TJ is now 5-0 overall. They are 4-0, tied with Pine Lake Prep at the head, at the top of the Southern Piedmont Conference. This will be the last regular season game for the Griffins tonight. Senior night, they're in Avondale, and they will try to complete the regular season undefeated, trying to improve to 6-0, 5-0 in the conference. Now, unfortunately, TJ does not play Pine Lake Prep this season. So, next week, Griffins have an open date, but Pine Lake Prep will be facing Community School of Davidson, and it will be one of those rare times we will actually be polling for Community School of Davidson, because if they were to upset Pine Lake Prep, it would move TJ into an uncontested championship of the conference. Tonight, the Griffins will be hosting Bessemer City, and this, talk about an oddity in this season. Here is a team that last season shared the conference championship with TJ and with Mountain Island Charter, but the Yellow Jackets have gone from a 7-4 season. They are now 1-4 overall. They are 1-3 in the conference. Last week, I understand that they only dressed out 12 players. They have been hurt by COVID. They have been hurt by injuries. They have been hurt by student attrition. It's just eye-popping to see the difference in the Bessemer City Yellow Jackets from last season to what they will bring to Avondale tonight. Now, I looked through the roster, and there actually are about 18, 19 players on the roster, but like I said, some injuries. It takes 11 to play on offense, takes 11 to play on defense. This is going to be interesting tonight to see the Yellow Jackets and the Griffins. You would say, it sounds like it should be an easy win for TJ tonight. Nothing is ever that easy. That's why we put the ball on the tee every week and we kick it off. That kickoff tonight will be at 6:30. Make a note of that, 6:30 in Avondale tonight. We'll be on the air. Now, the Atlanta Braves open up this afternoon. They are in Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. Braves season opener today. That first pitch will be at 3:05. 3:05 this afternoon. We'll have that game on the radio, and as soon as the game is complete, or at 6 o'clock, whichever comes sooner, we will make the switch, and we'll move over to Avondale for high school football Friday night. But we'll have both today, baseball and football on the same day. Braves this afternoon, 3:05 first pitch, and then our kickoff. Thomas Jefferson hosting Bessemer City tonight. Kickoff at 6:30.
Well, times are really different from a few years ago when everything happened on Friday night. Now it's happening every night, and baseball on top of it. Jay, just a minute. I know you got to go, and I do too. But tell us about the exciting punter on the team at Thomas Jefferson.
Well, the place kicker, yeah. She is a girl.
Yes.
Selma McMurray. Quite an interesting story. I guess at the beginning of the season, Coach Cash was in need of a kicker. And from what I understand, put out an email to the students to say, hey, if you are interested, please contact us. And from what I understand, it was kind of almost a joke to begin with. Selma is a very good soccer player. In fact, the other night, she had a couple of goals for the Lady Griffin soccer team. Selma replied to the email, and I guess Coach Cash said, hey, you are welcome. Let's give it a try. And last week, she was 6 out of 6 on her extra point kicks. Just an amazing story there. But we're looking forward to seeing Selma McMurray tonight. The female, the only female member on the Griffins football team, but she is turning out to be a very, very good kicker.
Be interesting to watch that and hear that tonight on the radio. We'll have that game tonight with 6 o'clock, I believe you said.
Yep,
6 o'clock
6:30
airtime.
kickoff.
Yep. And we'll have the game tonight, and then again tomorrow night. And Jay, if you will join us again Friday morning, we'll have the Friday morning kickoff report.
Yeah, Jim, that game tomorrow night is huge. Chase at RS Central. Wow. Homecoming for the Hilltoppers. Senior night for the Hilltoppers. Wow. It has such an impact on the playoff picture, too.
We'll wait and listen to it. We thank you for being with us today, and we'll listen tonight. Thanks, Jay.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
And you can hear that game tonight on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, and also on our website at www.WCAB59.com. And that game tonight and tomorrow night. And, of course, as he mentioned, Braves this afternoon. We got some news from here and there coming up at 8:30 this morning. Willard Whitson, Executive Director of Kid Sense's Interactive Museum, will be in the studio with me to talk about all the activities taking place there.
Celebrate greater at Carolina West Wireless. Greater deals, greater savings, and greater ways to stay connected. Like $350 off the new iPhone 12. Love the device you already own? Bring it in when you switch and save $150. Plus, get 4 lines with unlimited data for just $35 a month per line. All on our powerful nationwide high-speed network. Stop by Carolina West Wireless and celebrate greater today. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Certain restrictions or conditions may apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
It's been an interesting year. Last year, an interesting first quarter this year, an interesting day yesterday. And again, thank you so much, folks, for coming back to us today after yesterday. But we appreciate so very much you. I've said many times, we got the best audience in the whole wide world, and we appreciate you. Thank you. 17 minutes after 8 o'clock, the Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Francis coming up here in just a few moments. But some news from here and there. Forest City Police are asking for the public's help with identifying a man wanted for questioning about a larceny. Forest City Police are investigating a breaking and entering with larceny at Legacy 53 Signs Lipscomb. Lipscomb Signs Company used to be Lipscomb Signs, has now been bought by somebody else. Legacy 73 Signs. On Friday, March 26th is when this occurred. The suspect was described as a white male wearing a gray baseball hat, gray tank top, and black pants. He also has multiple tattoos on his left arm. So if you have any idea who this might be, information about this subject or incident, please contact Sergeant Brad Moore at Forest City Police Department at 245-5555, or you can call Communications Center at 286-2911. Well, because of rainy weather, Wednesday organizers of the Easter Eggs Extravaganza were not able to hide eggs. However, more eggs will be hidden today through Saturday. Easter Egg Extravaganza is a joint Easter egg hunting event involving the towns of Forest City, Spindale, and Rutherfordton. Eggs are hidden in town parks, along the Thermal Belt Rail Trail, and at local businesses along Main Street. Special golden eggs contain gift cards and small toy prizes. A total of 20,000 eggs are expected to be hidden. Organizers ask that participants remember this is a family-friendly event, and they want as many kids as possible to find eggs. Participants are asked to leave some eggs for others that will participate throughout each day of the event. It's a family-friendly deal. Wednesday rain and forecast of thunderstorms prompted the postponement of scheduled COVID-19 vaccinations until today. The vaccine clinic scheduled for Wednesday at McNair Field will resume today. Those who are scheduled to receive their second dose of the vaccine can return today from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. If you have any questions about that, call the vaccine hotline at 223-5735. As of Wednesday, 15,458 county residents, or 23.6%, have been partially vaccinated. Wednesday, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services reported 10 new coronavirus cases in the county for a cumulative total of 6,955. And Pierre J. Coombs a while ago reporting in that football team over in Polk County, Polk Central, had an outbreak of COVID, so they are not playing this week or probably not next week. Sheriff Chris Francis was on with us earlier for the Sheriff's Report, and we'll have that in just a moment.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
Now here is the Sheriff with our report we aired earlier during the 7 o'clock hour at the Call Around News, and we recorded it for broadcast for times like this.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 110 calls to service, and then 14 arrests processed at the county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 149. Among those arrested, Alexis Cornelia Green, 32-year-old female of Morrisboro, was charged with accessory after the fact of a felony, received a $130,000 secure bond. Ezra Matthias Bryant, 20-year-old male of Hendersonville, was charged with failure to appear, received a $500 secure bond. Betty Louise Weeks, 64-year-old female of Boston, was charged with failure to appear, received a $14,000 secure bond. Dakota Graham Jenkins, 22-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with larceny, received a $1,000 secure bond. Stephen Wayne Blanton, 43-year-old male of Lincolnton, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Joshua Adam Price, 23-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $7,500 secure bond. Kaylee Sabrina Holland, 26-year-old female of Boston, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $500 bond. Jennifer Watts, 46-year-old female of Ellenboro, was charged with possession of stolen property and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Among her instance, we recovered a stolen tag. It was Paul Young North 3478 or PYN 3478, recovered at Newhouse Road, and that is where Jennifer Watts was taken into custody in possession of that tag, and it had been recently stolen out of Rutherford County. Jim, that's what we had to report today.
Your 2021 Atlanta Braves are ready to defend their division crown and take Atlanta baseball fans on another fun ride.
And it's hit in the air to right field and deep. Conforto going back at the wall. It's gone! Marcel Ozuna to the opposite field has tied the game of the night.
Today, it's opening day from Philadelphia as the Braves kick off the 2021 season against division rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies. Braves Radio's on the air at 1:50 Eastern, 12:50 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
The story in today's edition of the Daily Courier, or yesterday's edition, I'm not sure which one it was, but with Habitat for Humanity working on its 83rd house, employees at American Zinc Products recently provided assistance toward that construction. On March 13th, employees of American Zinc Products, AZP this called, and their families volunteered with Habitat to help build a new home already under construction on Pennsylvania Avenue in Spindale. The group built scaffolding and worked on sheathing the walls. AZP employees are no stranger to volunteering with Habitat. They started working with Habitat in 2019 with Hammering for Heroes, a program designated for home repairs for low-income veterans. Because of the pandemic, construction on Habitat House came to a halt in March of 2020, but they're back in action, and thanks to AZP and Habitat for Humanity for working on these homes for people who need their help. Stand by. Update on sports coming up here, and then special guest in the Blue Room following sports on WCAB.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Drew Holiday scored 28 points for the Milwaukee Bucks as they beat the Lakers last night 112-97. Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer says Holiday was on fire.
It just felt like the ball was coming off his hands. We just want to continue to push him to be aggressive.
Andre Drummond left his Lakers debut with a bruised right toe, while the depleted defending NBA champs are still without LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Miami defeated Indiana, bringing the Heat back to 500 and within one game of the idle Hornets, who continue to lead the Southeast. Phoenix held on to beat Chicago, while Portland, Brooklyn, Dallas, Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Utah, and San Antonio all picked up wins last night. On the ice, the Buffalo Sabres snapped an 18-game skid by beating the Philadelphia Flyers 6-1.
I love winning, man. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Colorado scored early and often in topping Arizona 9-3. Toronto, LA, and San Jose also picked up wins, while Calgary at Vancouver was postponed last night. Tonight, the Hurricanes are in Chicago to play the bookend of a two-game set with the Blackhawks. Carolina dropped the opener on Tuesday night 3-1. Today is opening day for Major League Baseball.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
After last year's shortened season, Major League Baseball hopes things can get back to normal. Fans will be back, although the number of fans depends on COVID regulations where the game's being played. Two rules put into effect last year will remain. Games played during doubleheaders will be just 7 innings, and if a game goes into extra innings, the team at bat will start the inning with a runner at second base. Steve Futterman, CBS News.
The Boston Red Sox say fans will be allowed to sing Sweet Caroline during the 7th-inning stretch of this afternoon's game versus Baltimore, but per COVID restrictions, there will be no reaching out or touching of hands. There are 15 games on today's schedule. This is NCN Sports.
Do you have a frog? You know, the finished room over the garage? Now that everyone's at home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a more comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, a Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split installed by one of our diamond contractors will have you comfortable in no time. Let's turn those hot, uncomfortable spaces in your house into spaces you and your family will enjoy. To learn more, text COOL-NC to 41300.
Are you stuck inside but still looking for bargains on new and secondhand goods? Try HighBid.com, the online auction site for just about anything. HighBid.com offers a safe and easy way to find hundreds of thousands of items for sale every day, from rare coins to fine jewelry, tools to vintage toys, and classic cars to real estate. HighBid.com has it all. HighBid.com makes it easy to find what you're looking for, and the site is simple to use. HighBid.com. That's HiBid.com. And start discovering great deals today.
The Cleveland Indians open play today with the 3-game series in Detroit, but when they head back to Cleveland for their home opener on April 5th, the team will institute new requirements for fans as the team itself prepares to change its name.
The team plans to drop the word Indians at the end of the season, but some changes are already taking place. This season, fans will not be allowed to wear Native American headdresses or face paint. Inappropriate images, words, or dress must be covered up or removed. Fans violating the new rules will be asked to leave the stadium. Steve Futterman, CBS News.
The LA County Sheriff's Office says detectives have determined what caused the February 23rd crash in Southern California that injured Tiger Woods, but it would not release details. They cited unspecified privacy concerns for the golf star. Woods is in Florida recovering from multiple surgeries. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello and happy Thursday. We'll see more sunshine across the area early this afternoon, seeing a partly cloudy to eventually a mostly sunny sky. And temperatures, though, staying chilly, highs in the upper 40s and low to mid 50s. It'll be rather breezy at times today, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Mostly clear, cold tonight. We start below freezing and in the upper 20s and low 30s Friday morning. More sunshine likely Friday afternoon, but temperatures staying cool as well. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
It is another great getting up morning here in the foothills. Sunny skies right now, but still a little bit cool, 41 degrees. We should be warming up nicely to about 49. A few more steps to make before we get to our high today, but that wind is going to be the factor today. Gusting winds to about 25 miles per hour. Tonight, though, watch out tonight. Freezing tonight. Lows around 27 with that wind chill value as low as 20. Wind gusted about 22 miles per hour with a low of around 27 and 22 mile per hour gusting wind. You better go in and wrap a blanket around you. It's going to be that kind of night. We have special guests in the studio from time to time. It's always an honor to have special guests that are doing things in our community to make things a little better for us. And Willard Whitson is in the studio with me right now, and we'll talk with him in just a moment.
Get the most out of your tax refund with Bark Mobile's Refund Rack-Up event. Come in this tax season and get a great smartphone at a price you can't beat. Absolutely free. That's right. Get the popular LG Stylo 6 or LG K51 for free when you switch to Bark Mobile. Then rack up even more savings with unlimited data for $45 a month with AutoPay and take your tax refund to the max. Visit a store today to get the most with Bark Mobile. Mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
It's 8:30 now. Let me introduce to you our guest this morning. Our guest is Willard Whitson. He is here in the studio this morning to talk about Kid Census, and he's the executive director of that. Willard, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Everybody has recognized the name Kid Census for some while now, and but it's made some changes over recent years. Give us just a brief history of the Kid Census.
Well, all right. I happily do that. Kid Census opened its doors in 2004, so we're coming up on almost 18 years of operation. So we're an 11,000 square foot children's museum on Main Street in historic downtown Rutherfordton. It's about 11,000 square feet, and we see about 30,000 visitors a year, or at least we did until this past year. I'm happy to say we're about to reopen on April the 16th, with being very mindful of the restrictions that necessarily are in place. But we've done a thorough assessment to understand how to safely reopen. But yeah, we're a place that engages families with children aged 10 and under, down to infants. Our philosophy is learning through play, so a lot of educational environments that kids are learning things in, and they don't even know it because they're having such a good time.
It is a remarkable place. I've been in it several times back after it was started. How much of an impact did COVID have on your attendance?
Well, it certainly, yeah. I mean, it was stunning. I mean, we are not different from other businesses. We depend in no small part on earned revenue to sustain our operations. That went to zero a year ago, and our revenue comes from admissions, birthday parties, group visits from schools and other organizations. Again, we host about 30,000 visitors a year, but we're seeing a similar number through educational outreach programs in the school systems. Of course, that went to zero as well. So it was pretty tough. We did get some PPP money, which allowed us to stay in virtual operation. Our education staff was able to retain a couple of people, and they did an extraordinary job of doing free programming online, about 100 or more original programs that were free to anybody that wanted them, until we couldn't sustain that. We've subsequently gotten another round of PPP, and that's allowed us to start planning for the reopening again on April the 16th. But it's been very difficult. It's been very difficult.
Prior to COVID, of course, messing a lot of lives up.
Yeah.
Were your attendees more local schools, or are you getting a lot of visitors from outside the county?
We actually, every year, we have visitors from across the country. Now, I will not say that they're coming from Oregon to visit Kid Census as their primary reason, but the bulk of our visitors come obviously from Rutherford County, Cleveland County, and sort of down into Spartanburg and Greenville and the surrounding areas. About 60% local, and then the remainder come from all across the state and again beyond.
I suspect there are a lot of folks who have brought their kids and grandkids. We have a lot of grandparents who listen to this show on a regular basis, and they find things to do for their kids and grandkids. So I suspect many of them have been there, but I also suspect there are many who have not yet been through the doors of Kid Census. Yeah. And which we want to encourage them to do that as soon as things are where they can do that.
Absolutely. Like I say, the 16th is coming up pretty fast.
Right.
So.
In addition to that, and we hope indeed that does indeed work out with no more breakouts of the COVID, we hope it's finally moving away, but you're in the building process of exciting new, what do you call it, factory?
It's very exciting. I'm happy to say that throughout this past year, work did not cease on our expansion project. As I mentioned, Kid Senses is an 11,000 square foot facility that engages families with children aged 10 and under. Our new facility is called The Factory, a place to meet and make. We recognize that there's a tremendous need for an informal learning environment that's going to really help kids nurture their curiosity and eventually, connecting the dots, lead to successful careers. And we know the dropout rate in this area is pretty tough. There are a lot of negative activities that tweens and teens are susceptible to. So we're creating a facility that's going to engage kids 11 on up into their teens, in addition to offering additional opportunities for our core audience. So the factory is really themed around the international maker movement, and we have a lot of what we call zones of engagement. There's a tech lab with all kinds of high-tech equipment, computers and laser cutters and 3D printers and so forth, or there will be. There's a conventional shop. Kids work with hand and power tools. And there's my favorite, the food studio, which is a fully functioning kitchen. And we hope our young visitors will bring the same level of inquiry into the culinary arts. And, of course, teenagers love to eat. They love to prepare food. They love to socialize. So there are a lot of layers to engagement that will take place in the food studio. And then we have a zone where kids can sort of form teams and groups of their own design as they then explore the various areas. Concurrent with the factory, we are completely revamping our Discovery Garden, which was a seasonal experience, and when we reopen, it'll be year-round. Nature does not go away in the wintertime. So that's a way for engagement in nature, and then it will complement what happens inside the building. So when all this is complete, we will have grown from an 11,000 square foot museum to a 27,000 square foot complex. And we think that's going to really sort of shift our visitor profile. You know, we will have a scale and a complexity that really is going to draw people from a much larger region than we have been engaging before.
What is the completion date expectations?
Everything depends on fundraising. We're about 4/5 of the way through this campaign. It's about a $2.75 million campaign, so we've been very successful. Local foundations, businesses, and individuals have been very supportive. So this is a very indirect way of saying I don't know, but we do hope to finish it sometime next year, where we've just started phase 2, which is the largest of the renovation phases. We're renovating a building that's behind Kid Senses, and it's about a 100-year-old building, and a real fixer-upper, okay, to say the least. So we plan on completing this again, the largest of 3 phases, this fall. And then we hope to move right into the final phase 3. We've got about $500,000 or $600,000 to raise. Construction costs keep going up, so we're chasing that. Sure. But we're working with a great architectural firm, Hazlip Studios. They're based in Asheville and Memphis. Terrific construction team, Champion Construction, Michael Champion Construction. They recently did the work renovating Kiwanis Park in Rutherfordton. And they did phase 1 construction for us. So I like to joke and say that we found them for the town, but Doug Barrick might challenge that.
Now, will the age limitations on the factory be the same as the?
No, we're going to engage kids on up well into their teens. We think the factory, given the nature of the programming, we have a concept that we call whole family engagement. We think this is going to be a 9 to 9 building, so certainly teens, they'll have internet access, high-speed internet access there, and more independence than our younger visitors. So we think extended hours are warranted, And we also believe that this is going to be a great place for events with the renovated garden and beautiful interior space, facility rentals for weddings. We think there will be opportunities for businesses to do sort of team-building activities in the evening. So we believe it's going to really function not only as a museum for older kids, but also literally as a community center in many ways. And we're working very closely with the town of Rutherfordton and others, and certainly the Norris Library, which is in and of itself going through kind of a dramatic reinvention. And in fact, I have a meeting next week with the library director and to talk about how we can collaborate on programming. We've informally collaborated on grant applications, both of us kind of consulting with each other. We both just recently received a couple of Facebook grants, and so we see a lot of complementary programming going on there.
The proximity of the factory and Kiwanis Park and that trail should
blend
itself very well.
Yeah, well, we call it the cultural and nature corridor. If you go from Norris Library at one end of the town, Kids Senses, the Rutherford County Visual Artists Guild, the Kids Senses Complex, the Purple Martin Trail, which links everything to Kiwanis at the other end of town. Along the way on 6th is the Bechtler Historic House. So there's this rich collaborative resources all along this corridor, which combined, really makes us a family destination. And so I think we're going to see a real uptick in visitation because of all of these, the aggregate of all of these places.
Well, the Kiwanis Park sure has gotten a lot of visitors since they...
It has. I mean, we were there for the groundbreaking, and there were people, just playing around in the park, sort of wondering what we were doing there in front of a microphone. But... yeah, no, they did a beautiful job, beautiful design, well executed, and instantly popular.
I want to come back to that in just a moment. We'll ask you one other question before we move back to that, and I'll let you go. But I know you're also involved in Tourism Development Authority, TDA.
Yeah,
How is TDA? How is the tourism industry in the county now?
Yeah, thanks for asking about that. I'm the current chairman of the Rutherford County Tourism Development Authority. I roll off, sadly, at the end of June. I have to lay off for a year, and hopefully I'll be able to come back to that. But the TDA has a really ambitious plan to develop $20+ million worth of tourism assets throughout the county in a program that we call Rutherford Bound, from mountains to main streets. All of the towns are collaborating on this. The TDA has seen, and this is ironic, really a dramatic uptick in overnight stays, and that of course generates occupancy tax, which is how the TDA is funded, and that has increased every year for the last 5+ years, and this year has been no exception. So we think the dynamic is that a lot of people, not being able to do long distance travel, have been doing day and weekend trips, and so our hotel and inns and B&B occupancy has really grown exponentially. So the factory actually is one of the components of that plan, as was Kiwanis Park. There are projects underway, streetscape enhancements in Spindale, the plans for the new farmers market in Forest City is ultimately part of this. So it's things going on in Lake Lure and Chimney Rock. There's a whole new program. We had a groundbreaking in Chimney Rock just a couple of months ago. So it's really unique. We've caught the eye of the State Tourism Association. Whit Tuttle runs that, and he has said, he's never seen this kind of collaboration in among small communities in any county in North Carolina, and we think we're sort of serving as a template. A lot of this is attributable to our director, Don Kaysen, who he famously said the option of doing nothing is not an option, and boy, he has proven that to be the case. So We've since we started this project, including Kid Senses, we've developed well over $5 to $6 million worth of projects out of a $20+ million campaign. So it's really transformative for the county.
To our listeners, keep your ear to the ground, folks. Exciting things are going to be happening in Rutherford County in the next few months, so keep your ear to the ground. They're going to happen. One final question.
Yeah.
Willard, folks who might be interested in being a part of the Kid Senses and the factory, how do they get to you financially?
Easy enough, and yeah, by being a part of it, we hope people will want to contribute to help make this happen. It's very easy. You can give in two ways. You can go to our website, which is simply www.kidsenses.org, and go onto the donation page, or you can also give through the Rutherford Bound project. So if you go to rutherfordbound.com, you'll see all of the projects, and among them is the Kid Senses Factory project. And all monies raised go directly into support of these projects. It's not underwriting operations. It's going directly to, your money is fully used for these projects.
Great. Willard Whitson, the Executive Director of Kid Senses Interactive Museum, my guest this morning. And so tickled to have him here, and I hope you'll come back and keep us posted on how things are developing.
I would love to, and thanks again.
And I'll be back in just a moment. Now, wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you, and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net. Well, if you're looking for dress clothes for a wedding, for a special occasion, for homecomings, whatever the case may be, let me suggest that you go by Joy's Bridal in the Tri-City Mall. I've been impressed with the inventory Joy has there for brides attendants, clothes for the groom as well, or groom's attendants. Joy has 2 seamstresses and alteration experts on staff there. If you need some alterations, she can do that for you as well. You can rent your tux or buy them either way. And you know Joy's Bridal has what you need because she's well stocked there. A lot of jewelry for the ladies. Speaking of jewelry, you better believe it. Plenty of beautiful and stylish jewelry for any occasion. If it's been a while since you have been in Joy's Bridal, it's worth a look around. Something else I learned while visiting Joy, if you like to pay your bills like that, she can take your payments on utility bills, telephone bills, all the major department store bills, just about anything that you pay. You want to pay it there, you can do that as well. Now, they're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 4:30. You'll be glad you shopped at home and glad you rediscovered Joy's Bridal in the Tri-City Mall. All right, let's see what we got here. We got a lot of live studio audience out there in the lobby, so we can carry on anyway. There was Republican legislators in the North Carolina Senate are pushing forward a bill meant to improve literacy among North Carolina public school students by the 3rd grade. The Excellent Public Schools Act of 2021 is called, and it would lay out a statewide roadmap for switching literacy instruction from a look and say method to the phonetic method. The bill would focus attention beginning with pre-kindergarten instruction and extending through 3rd grade. Senate Leader Phil Berger, Republican from Rockingham, introduced the measure at a news conference Monday, March 29th, where he was joined by Senator Deanna Ballard, Republican from Watauga, Senator Mike Lee, Republican from New Hanover, and Republican Superintendent of Public Instructions, Catherine Truitt. Berger said, "We want the best policies that put North Carolina students in a position to succeed." The bill uses federal emergency funds related to COVID-19 pandemic to fund the new program. The bill is expected to be heard in the Senate Education Committee. It's supposed to be heard yesterday maybe and go up for a vote on the Senate floor before this week's over with. They'll be wanting to get home for the Easter holidays as well, I'm sure. So they'll probably vote on that maybe before they leave today. Let's hope so. Hope it passes. 10 minutes before the hour of 9, Governor Cooper signed 3 executive orders aimed at bolstering the state economy and protecting North Carolinians from the perils of COVID-19 pandemic. Executive Order number 206 extends North Carolina's statewide residential eviction moratorium through June 30th, 2021, in coordination with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's recent extension of the nationwide moratorium through the same date. Executive Order number 207 expedites the processing of unemployment insurance claims and is also effective through June 30th, 2021. Executive Order number 205 extends the North Carolina Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission authorization to permit the delivery or carryout of mixed beverages as an alternative to on-site consumption through April 30th. Now, I guess they think that is going to boost the economy, perhaps, but how that got tied in with education, I don't know. But as renters struggle to stay in their homes due to the pandemic hardships, Cooper created the HOPE program to make direct payments to landlords and keep people safely in their homes. To date, HOPE has awarded over $140 million to nearly 37,000 applicants. So they keep sending that money down to us. I'll tell you, coming today, we just sit home and collect our money. Don't even have to go to work anymore, it looks like. Well, this year, the American Farm Bureau Federation is promoting a new agricultural safety awareness program to raise awareness of safety and health issues facing the agriculture industry. The Daily Courier is reporting that Scott Carpenter did the story. Locally, Rutherford County Farm Bureau officials say road safety is a primary concern. They're trying to encourage motorists and farmers to be more careful when they're on the road, particularly when there is a tractor on the road. Ronnie Hawkins, a local Farm Bureau board member, is a retired employee of the North Carolina Farm Bureau and a farmer. His profession frequently took him across multiple counties in North Carolina. Farm bureaus locally and nationally advocate for farmers and people who live in rural areas. Farmers that are left need a voice now more than ever, Hawkins said. So he's leading the effort locally and is helping distribute information, including yard signs urging motorists to slow down if they see a tractor. While tractors can be seen on the roads year-round, the busier times are March through November. Because the equipment is so big, movement is slow, and Beam and his employees don't always pull off the road to let motorists pass unless they are certain it's safe. We don't typically pull off the road unless there is a large parking lot on the right where we can easily do so safely to allow others to pass. You've been there. I know you have been behind a slow-moving tractor. Well, they just can't pull off anywhere. They got to find a place that is convenient and safe for them to do that. They don't pull off unless there is a large parking lot on the right where they can easily do so. Even so, he says motorists would likely be behind a farmer on the road for no more than a mile or two. I guess we probably need to slow down anyway, don't we? Beam has been involved in several tractor-automobile collisions over the past 3 years, both by passing traffic and one by an oncoming vehicle. The roads will be safer for farmers and motorists if motorists have more patience and awareness, and the Farm Bureau is promoting road safety and making it more raised to the aware of the fact that they're out there. They got to make a living. They got to move from place to place. Their farmland is not always together. They may have to go somewhere else, so keep in mind. I'm sure some of you listening have ridden the mountain coaster in Gatlinburg. I'm not much on big rides up in the sky, I tell you. Airplane is about it for me. I don't like the roller coasters and don't like the Ferris wheel, all those high fly, fast moving. I don't like those kind of things. I remember the scripture says, Lord says, "Lo, I am with you always." So I kind of stay down low. Anyway, an investigation was conducted after a guest on the Gatlinburg mountain coaster in the Great Smoky Mountains went flying off the cart and was flown 10 feet in the air. The guest was thrown about 10 feet before landing on part of the coaster's track. The guest was transported to the hospital with head, ankle, and wrist injuries. The device was immediately shut down after the accident. After reviewing the incident and receiving verification that the ride was deemed safe by a third-party inspector, the state allowed the attraction to reopen. They're still gathering information as to how that happened, but she was thrown about 10 feet before that happened. Yeah, those rides are not for me, but I'd rather stay on the ground and ride a horse. You know what I'm saying? All right, Better Business Bureau is warning of home improvement scams. We talk about scams a lot because I was really concerned about many of you and us falling for scams on the telephone. I feel real important that somebody's looking at me. You got to call somebody. Sound like they were from Puerto Rico, telling me that my car warranty had expired. So I thought, boy, they really care about my car warranty because it's about every 2 or 3 days they call about that. But Better Business Bureau is warning of home improvement scams. When hiring a home improvement contractor, scams abound, especially following a major storm, flood, or other weather event, when many homeowners are trying to repair their houses, according to the Better Business Bureau. But contractor scams can happen anytime, so be wary of high-pressure sales tactics, upfront fees, and fly-by-night businesses. Con artists will take homeowners' money and deliver slipshod work or no work at all. How the scam works. Home improvement scams can start with a knock on the door, a flyer, or an ad. The contractor may offer a low price or a short time frame. One common hook is when the scammer claims to be working in your neighborhood or another project and has leftover supplies. I've had them over the years calling me. We've just finished a product and we have this extra product. If we can do your driveway kind of thing, or that's the scam they try to pull. Once started, a rogue contractor may find issues that significantly raise the price. If you object, they threaten to walk away and leave a half-finished job, or they may accept your upfront deposit and then never return to do the job. Following a natural disaster, scammers persuade homeowners to sign over their insurance payment. So watch out for these scammers that are out there looking after you, trying to take your money. Watch out for red flags. Say no to cash-only deals, high-pressure sales tactics, high upfront payments, handshake deals without a contract, and on-site inspections. Not all storm chasers are con artists, but enough are that you should be cautious anytime a home contractor contacts you first, especially after a natural disaster. Ask for references and check them out. Bad contractors will be reluctant to share this information, and scammers don't wait for you to do your homework. If you can, get references from past customers, both older references to check on the quality of the work and newer references to make sure current employees are up to the task. Check them out at bbb.org to see if other customers have that same experience. And always be sure to get a written contract with the price, materials, and timeline. The more detail, the better. And know the law. Work with local businesses that have proper identification, licensing, and insurance. Confirm that your vendor will get related permits, and make sure you know who is responsible for what according to your local laws, and that your vendor is ready to comply. They're out there. They're a dime a dozen, particularly during springtime and summer is when they really pop up. They'll try anything to get you to agree to something, and it may or may not get the job done. All right. Appreciate Willard Whitson being in here. Talking about kid centers. It's quite a place. If you've never, well, they're not quite open yet, but if you've never taken your kid or grandkid over there, it's something that's really worth the effort with their time, and they love it. They love it. All right, that's about it for the morning. We got to make room out here for My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up here at 9:05 this morning. Butch is here in the building with us even now as I speak and getting ready for it. And we've had a lot of sports coming up. Braves baseball this afternoon. Football game tonight. Football game tomorrow night. Easter coming up on Sunday. We've got a special Sunday morning Easter program. It's called Love Lifted Up, a very special Easter program filled with hope, music, and stories of the resurrection of Jesus. That's Sunday morning at 8:30. All our Sunday morning programs are special every day, every Sunday through the week, through the year. But this being Easter, we've added this one called Love Lifted Up, very special program, Easter Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m., and we hope you'll join us for that. Just go ahead and lock it in right now and get up Sunday morning early Go to Sunrise Service, turn your radio on over here. We'll have some special Easter programs for you as well. Lou does a good job of programming that up for us. We'll have Easter celebrating right here. Somewhere along the way, you might even hear Dolly Parton saying He's Alive. I don't know. We might have that in the playlist for something. It's in, Lou says it's in there, folks.
Get your local weather at 5 past the hour here on WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Even as businesses across the country reopen, companies are still cutting jobs. The Labor Department just reported that 719,000 Americans filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week. More people are getting vaccinated against COVID, but coronavirus infections and hospitalizations are on the rise. ABC's Ariel Rushev.
For the first time since the pandemic began, the majority of new patients hospitalized with the virus are younger adults.
That have yet to be vaccinated, those are the ones that we're actually starting to see a rise in hospitalization.
With cases currently rising in more than half the country since last week, the director of the CDC fearful a new surge could be on the way.
About 15 million Johnson & Johnson vaccine doses had to be thrown out this week because of human error at a manufacturing plant in Baltimore. Now, this opening day, most ballparks across the country are taking some precautions. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Yankee Stadium reopens at 20% capacity. That's between 10 and 11,000 fans, and they're not the only ones who need to show proof of vaccination or a recent negative test to gain entry. So do the workers.
Everything is good for us to be secure too, so we'll see today.
Yeah, any worries about that?
Yes, because I had the virus, so I'm making sure I'm secured so I won't get it again.
Even at 20% capacity, a crowd of nearly 11,000 in one place has been unheard of. Aaron Katursky, ABC News at Yankee Stadium.
No motive determined yet in that deadly shooting in Southern California. 4 people were killed in an office building in Orange, about 30 miles southwest of L.A. Charles McMillan, a witness to George Floyd's death, broke down on the stand in Minneapolis yesterday as police body cam was released showing Floyd calling out for his mother.
I don't have a mama either. I understand him. My mom died June 25th.
You're listening to ABC News.
How clean is your nose? Most airborne germs and allergens invade through the nose, your body's air filter. It's first line of defense. You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? Did you know there's an easy way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself? It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to clean your nose by flushing out pollen, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and it comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. And 50,000 independent online reviews averaging 4.7 stars show just how much people love their Navage. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now you can clean your nose and help protect your health with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage. N-A-V-A-G-E. Make good nasal hygiene your new normal with Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
New Mexico is poised to join the wave of states legalizing recreational marijuana. The governor expected to sign a bill now passed by state lawmakers that would allow people over the age of 21 to use pot. Republican lawmakers in Texas are pushing ahead with a bill that would put new limits on voting. It includes curtailed hours for polling places and limited options for casting ballots. The state could vote on it today. SpaceX still working on the next generation of its rockets and spacecraft in southern Texas. But ABC's Jim Ryan says not everybody is thrilled with the deal that got the company there.
3, 2, 1.
This week's test launch of a Starship prototype at Boca Chica, Texas, ended the way many others have.
It hit the ground.
In a violent explosion. It came months after leaders in nearby Brownsville voted on $1 million proposal to fund space activities.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Sparking anger among some residents.
It's not right for us to be involved in that as a city.
Including Zandra Trevino.
There are so many other ways that we could invest this money in our community.
A point he intends to make at the next city commission meeting. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
And no more cruise ships docking in the historic center of Venice. Italian authorities have approved the ban after a request from UNESCO, the cultural body of the United Nations. For now, big ships will have to dock at the city's industrial port. This is ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hello and happy Thursday. We'll see more sunshine across the area early this afternoon, seeing a partly cloudy to eventually a mostly sunny sky. And temperatures, though, staying chilly, highs in the upper 40s and low to mid 50s. It'll be rather breezy at times today, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Mostly clear, cold tonight. We start below freezing and in the upper 20s and low 30s Friday morning. More sunshine likely Friday afternoon, but temperatures staying cool as well. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
43-degree sunny skies on this Thursday morning. Monday, Thursday it is. Tomorrow it's Good Friday. And, of course, we're working toward Holy Week with Easter Sunday morning. And we hope you will enjoy your weekend with beautiful weather coming up all the way through the first of next week. It's 9:05 here at WCAB.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, Butch.
How are you, Jim? You know, I have to tell you this. There are times that I say to myself, if that microphone flipped on and people heard some of our conversations, like me saying, Jim, it's 9:04, we're about to start, and everybody's in there engaged in what I call senseless palaver.
Senseless palaver.
Senseless palaver. No, it's just that, it's that bantering kind of conversation. I learned so much. I learned so much just listening to Todd and Tracy and Lou, and now I know where you get the rich education that you have, Jim. It's from the company that you keep.
We just want to be a blessing.
Right. Now listen, this is My Great America with Jim and Butch. Tuesday we're going to be announcing our permanent sponsor, and we've been working on the details of that. I think you're going to be really excited to hear. And of course, this program is designed to really just be hope and help and life and inspiration for people that too often get bogged down in fear and the like. And, you know, it's in the spirit of being an authentic kind of North Carolina program. And you know what, Jim? I've got a North Carolina word for you.
Good.
Okay, I want to see if you know this one. Scone.
I laid some papers down, but now they're scone.
Okay, now that's one word. Now this is interesting because there could be two. It could be almost like, let's go on.
Let's go on.
Let's go on. Scone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scone.
We know what these are?
It's like donut bag.
Scones.
Oh, scones, yeah. Oh, yeah, scones.
Those are for you.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I thought we'd have a practical kind of object lesson here. Scones. Let's get on.
You know, I was just thinking those 3 hours really wear me down mentally, but when I get revived again, when we get to talk about My Great America.
Right. That's so good. And you know what? Your demeanor actually changes too. Yeah, you go from you know, there are icebergs ahead to, oh, this is a placid river we're on, and we're on a tube, and we're floating together in good fellowship. But you know, Jim, this morning I was considering again. I've encountered so many people recently that just deal with fear. Mm-hmm. They deal with fear all the time, and it comes out in different ways. It comes out in retreating when you ought to step into situations. It comes out in not taking advantage of opportunities that God has given us. It comes out in so many different ways, and I was reminded again that fear can be so paralyzing. And I read recently something that, you remember Everett Koop?
Yes.
He was the former Surgeon General of the United States. He had that very distinguished kind of look there. He said people have an inappropriate sense of what is dangerous. And I thought this was interesting. If you're not convinced about that statement, then think about this. Are you afraid of flying? Do you know that you are more likely to die choking on a piece of food than in a commercial airline crash? Did you know that you are more likely to die choking on a piece of food than a commercial airline crash? Are you afraid of dying in a robbery? You're twice as likely to be killed playing a sport than you are to be stabbed to death by a stranger. Are you afraid of sharks? Every year, barnyard pigs kill more people than sharks do. You know, you're worried about having surgery. You're 16 times more likely to die in a car crash than you are complications from surgery. And, you know, fear is a spirit. And when people have a spirit of fear, it paralyzes them from action, and it really ruins the quality of their life. And so, in the spirit of that, I was reading in Deuteronomy 31:14 this morning, 31, and actually verse 8, it says, "It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you or abandon you. Do not fear or be dismayed." So if we know where the source of our security comes from, we're not going to give ourselves to fear. And, you know, I've talked about the fact that I used to be claustrophobic, believe it or not, and it came out of a very specific situation. I was in, I think, the 3rd grade, and one of the children said, "Hey, I wonder if any of us can fit inside the locker." We used to have those metal lockers in the back, and I was always the one, Jim, that tempted God and would do the things that people said weren't possible. So I scrunched myself into that locker, and this boy shut the door and put a padlock on it.
Oh, my.
And the teacher was down at the teacher's lounge, and I was in there suffering, not believing I was going to die for maybe 5-8 minutes until she came back with the children laughing outside. Now, what did that do to me? What did it do to me? It allowed fear to enter into me. Now, I confronted that, you know, and later in life I had, you know, spiritual deliverance from all of that, but you know, I confronted that by doing what? I started putting myself in situations like spelunking. You know what spelunking is?
No.
It's cave exploration. So I confronted those fears by putting myself in situations that were unthinkable. Going into cave places where you had to take your belt off because you only had about this much room on either side of you in a rock wall in the side of a mountain. But fear, when it enters us, paralyzes us completely, and it's terrible.
It is terrible, and of course the Bible speaks of that several times. "I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me." So it speaks of turning our fears into God's presence, in the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Right, it's so true. And of course, as a nation, as a leader of a nation, or as a nation, it's one of the things that people loved about Donald Trump in the presidency is he would walk, it was like he would walk into a nuclear reactor with no protective equipment when he would go to a press conference. And he just didn't care. Now, his hair might stand up a little bit more, and he might get a little stiffer than he would normally be. But I think people, and it wasn't a braggadocious sort of thing, it was stepping into the fire, knowing that that's what leadership is all about. I mean, when the troops in a battle see the quivering hands of a leader who points them into the battle and says, "I'll watch back here to see how you do," that's not leadership at all.
Not leadership.
No. It's leadership is Teddy Roosevelt saying, "We're charging up the hill." Leadership is George Washington saying, just like David did when he said, "God help me kill the lion, God help me kill the bear." You know, George Washington remembered during the French and Indian War the times where he was in that war and got shot at so many different times. And then we've talked about this before. Many years later, there were Indians, Native Americans, who were in that battle that said, "We did not understand how we pointed a musket directly at you and shot and you were not killed." Well, George Washington remembered that, and it inspired him in those moments in the early days of our nation. And we need to jerk up and have the courage to step into the fire. And I get so concerned about malaise. You know, when people say, "Oh, well, Biden's now the president, I'm just going to take a break for a while." No, you're not. No, you're not. No, we're going to suit up. We're going to show up. And My Great America is going to be a firecracker here in the county to try to, you know, get some people aroused, don't you think?
Absolutely. And one thing I'm saddened over is that our American leader, don't get me wrong, I understand COVID is a serious thing, but I think our American leaders have led us down a path of fear to this. Many people are feared for their life because of it. It's a serious thing. People have died from it, complications from COVID. But the fear factor is worse, I think, than the actual situation.
Right, and fear is not of God. Fear is not of God. Now, there's a healthy reverence of God, and we should have a fear of God. And it says in Scripture that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We need to know that the world, the cosmos, this universe was created by not a human being, and it certainly didn't bubble up out of some green, murky mire, and we are not the descendants of baboons. I'll just make that clear. I'm sorry if that's a disappointment to somebody that came from a secular instinct. Starting to sound like you, Jim. Starting to sound like you in the morning. I'm sorry if that's a disappointment for somebody that wanted to show in their family Bible, their family tree, a baboon at the beginning of it, or some sort of primordial soup. We did not come from that. God created us. Genesis is a literal interpretation of what God did. But what happens with fear for a nation is you start to become tentative. You start to become tentative. And it could be a person in sports that becomes tentative. It could become a person in business that becomes tentative. And we never want to be reckless, and we need to hear from God before we do what we do. But the whole story of Scripture is about God-birthed courage. The 3 Hebrew boys had courage. They had courage.
Yes.
You know, David had courage. You know, Joshua didn't have courage in the beginning, but he ended up having courage. And so I'm so in my heart stirred to remember again that God has called us to a place of having courage in the face of many things that are happening in our country. You know, John MacArthur recently preached a sermon where he talked about the judgment of God. And you know what, Jim? I don't know if God's judgment is on this nation. We certainly have enough for him to judge. We have corporate sins and responsibilities. You know, the redefinition of marriage and roles, you know, are absolutely consumptive behavior as a culture with pornography and sexual sin and you know, the 60 some odd million babies that have been aborted, the 3,000 per day. I mean, there's enough that can be put at the feet of our nation. And it says in Sodom and Gomorrah that their sin came up to God. There was something about, sin is wrong wherever it is, but there was something about the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah that gave special notice and special offense to God that he responded the way that he did. So we shouldn't be fearful, but we ought to fear God and we ought to reverence God, because it's not going to get better on its own. Is it, Jim?
No, it's not. I want to ask you a question. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you probably know you spoke of Sodom and Gomorrah. Excuse me. Excuse me. Is that where we get sodomy from?
Yes.
Sodomy.
Yeah, and sodomite. I mean, it came from that, and it was especially egregious to God. And the result was, and you know what? We look at things like the flood. We need to remember this in the cosmic drama between Satan and God, truth and untruth. What took place is God created perfection. He created a world that's beautiful, a world that was perfect. And Satan, because of his interdiction of that and because of man's original sin, Satan put a blight on God's creation, and everything about Satan is designed to steal, kill, and destroy what God made. And you know what Satan is trying to do? Satan is trying to recreate and re-image, if you will, God's creation. And so the contradiction of things that we know to be true, you know, a marriage is a man and a woman. That was God's intention. Satan is trying to redefine creation and create just across the globe these incredible expressions of evil. And that's why we've got to mobilize to fight. Now, we need to do it with love. We need to do it with love, but we need to remember again that God has called us. You know, it's so interesting. Indifference is one of the greatest sins of all. And the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. Is indifference. And we need to be engaged. And I was remembering again our history and the role that churches have played. And I keep remembering that we've got several hundred churches in our county, and we need to come up alongside of our pastors and encourage them. It's one of the most difficult vocations that you can ever have.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, and you've been a friend to pastors, haven't you?
I grew up in a pastor's home, yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly what he went through.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of responsibility. But, I was remembering again, in the face of all of this, that it was the churches that were the primary source that stirred the fires of liberty in the beginning, telling the colonists that the English government was usurping their God-given rights and the king and parliament were violating the laws of God. That language and messaging was coming from churches, not from politicians. The Founding Fathers were convinced that it was their sacred duty to start a revolution to uphold the law of God against the unjust and oppressive laws of men. And the fight for political liberty was seen as a sacred cause because civil liberty was an inalienable right according to God's natural law. The New England ministers in particular, and it's so interesting because that's a spiritually dead place. If you look at the country, in terms of church membership and the kinds of churches and the like, New England is one of the most difficult mission fields that we have in America. But in the early days of the country, New England ministers were decisive in rallying popular support. They pressed their congregations to overthrow King George because they believed that rebellion to tyrants was obedience to God. From many pulpits, ministers recruited troops and strengthened them in battle with patriotic sermons. While the church leaders were well schooled in the fact that the Bible placed great emphasis on due submission to civil authorities, and we see that in Romans, of course, Romans 13, they noted that there were also many passages that approved resistance to ungodly authority. For instance, when the apostles were commanded by the Sanhedrin to cease preaching Jesus Christ had risen from the dead, Peter boldly asserted we ought to obey God rather than men. Of course, we find that in Acts chapter 5. So we've got to have that same kind of courage, Jim, and it happens at a local level.
It would be great. I was thinking it would be great if the churches, as many as there are here in the county, if they could just come together in unity and believing in the one source rather than having various views of whatever it is. But churches want to work against each other, it seems.
Well, you know what? Let me give you a sweet little example of a monthly meeting that happens. It doesn't happen with a lot of fanfare, but I'm part, along with Mark Morris, who goes to the church I attend, Word of Faith Fellowship, part of a clergy council on racial reconciliation. And it grew out of the George Floyd events and the recognition that racism is real. There are still people that are racist. I've encountered them here in the county, and I try to gently tell them and sometimes forcefully tell them that's not God's way. It's not God's way. It says very clearly in Scripture that there's neither Greek nor Jew, male nor female. In God's eyes, we are all part of one family. And so we meet monthly. We've been doing it on Zoom calls. We had actually a Zoom call this past Monday night, and we talked very openly about matters of mutual interest and concern in the county. And it says, I think it's in Zephaniah, don't despise the day of small beginnings. And it's a small thing. If people say, well, what's it fixed so far? You know what we're doing? We're walking a journey together. We're getting in each other's shoes and in each other's moccasins and each other's boots, and we're walking together in friendship, building the kind of trust so that at some point we can share about these matters that we need to deal with. I mean, there have been conversations about the statue of the Confederate soldier in front of the courthouse. There have been conversations about the fact that Sundays are one of the most segregated times in America. Why is that true? There have been conversations where people have shared some of the dilemmas and difficulties that they face. Some are old enough to remember when you had a bifurcation of blacks go here to the bathroom and whites go here. So we've got to be committed to get out of the boat and start walking on the water with the help of Jesus, Jim. And if we're fearful, we're just not going to do that.
Fear is one of our worst enemies. Fear of many things, our worst enemy. And I think Satan feeds that into us, and we've got to get rid of that fear. The fear factor is a detriment to our spiritual growth as well as the growth in America. We can get rid of it.
Absolutely, and one of the things, one of the greatest fears that we have is of other people and what they'll think. Mm-hmm. And I tell the story about you've heard it a number of times. You know what's happening? We're on program number 63. Jim, you need to do this. And as I get older, if I ever tell a story you've heard before, would you just lean over and say, "Hey, Butch, I've heard that"?
I may have forgotten it though.
Okay. Well, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. You know, when you seem excited, I knew somebody. This is a little rabbit trail, and we'll make sure that we coax the rabbit back. I knew somebody that used to tell me the same story over and over and over again, and they were an elder. They were in their mid-90s, and the mercy part of me just purposed in my heart, I'm going to be as happy and as excited and as anticipatory as the first time I heard this story. And then God convicted me. Okay, is that disingenuous? But I thought, you know what? That's a sweet story, and if I hear it 50 times, I'm going to go ahead. But I tell the story about how I'm grateful that I grew up in a home where I had a mother. She was really the leader, the spiritual leader in the home for sure. She told us very directly, you're not going to be afraid of people, and you're not going to care about the opinions of men. You're going to care about the opinions of God. And so my friend Alex Chicos in the 4th grade, he had a club foot. I tell the story of, we had our 50-yard run or 100-yard run, and I came in second. Tommy Dameron came in first. I've gotten over the disappointment of that. But all of the children were laughing because Alex Chicos had a club foot. And they laughed as he drug his foot there, and they waited for him. And I stood up after lunch in front of the class and said, Alex is my friend. And I've told people before I got shunned in the 4th grade, so it was good training for me. But I came here to the county. But we can't be afraid of people, and fear is going to keep us from doing the creative things God's called us to. And I'm going to give you one quick example. You know what this is?
Barbecue sauce.
That's not just barbecue sauce.
Sweet Baby Ray's gourmet sauce.
Yeah. And you know what? It was 2 brothers.
Award-winning.
Yeah, 2 brothers that entered a barbecue contest in the. That's yours, by the way. That's a contribution. You know what I'm doing? And by the way, Jim, just before we started, I looked up and I saw a pooch. I am going to lose this weight. God's put it on my heart to lose this weight, and I'm going to do it. But
let's change the subject on that.
Okay. Well, you know what? The wounds of a friend are better than the kisses of the enemy, and I'm not kissing you right now. So we'll go ahead and hold each other accountable there. But this is an example. 2 brothers felt like they had a good barbecue sauce idea. They entered a contest in the early 1980s in the Chicago area. There were over 700 entrants that were in that, and they came in 2nd place. And a guy named Mike Royko, who is just well known, a columnist for the Chicago Tribune, really fell in love with what they did. Well, they overcame their fear of taking what they thought was a good homegrown, home-based barbecue sauce. And in Texas, I'm a native Texan. You talk about barbecue, everybody's got an opinion. North Carolina, people, right?
Yes, oh yes.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I was at a restaurant one time and people asked me, what kind of barbecue sauce do you want? And I didn't realize there was more than one kind.
Oh, yes.
Like you got vinegar-based and right?
Right, that's right.
Yeah, so they overcame their fear, and what they did is they went into this contest. There were over 700 entrants. They came in 2nd place. Out of that, the word went out, and that company started to grow, and now they've got many different, and I think about 10 or 14 years ago, they ended up selling their idea, they overcame the fear, for $30 million.
Wow.
For $30 million. So anytime you're looking, it's not every time, but when you're walking down the aisle of a grocery store or you're in a hardware store, somebody overcame the fear and the reticence to come up with that idea for that tool.
Sure.
Somebody came up with the idea for, the spreader that you use, or somebody came up with the idea for that machine that pulls out the plugs in your lawn to make it aerated, and somebody had that idea, and it came from God because he made us creative. But you can't be the creative being that God has called you to be if you live in fear. You can't be a good friend. We sing a song at my church, we'll be true friends to each other, speak the truth to one another, open our hearts in sweet communion before you, Lord. You can't be a good friend, Jim, unless you're truthful with people. And it's one of the things I value so much. A lot of people see us here, but they don't realize that there are many quiet moments that we spend out there talking about life and the world and
yes,
and all of that. And what would I trade that for? I wouldn't trade that for anything. I wouldn't trade that for anything.
One thing about fear, overcoming fear is one of the reasons people can move on to success and create things like this. They've got to recognize no fear of failure. I'm going to happen. Henry Ford passed on beyond no fear of failure. He made it happen. And there's success story after success story. And Paul Harvey told a lot of those. Zig Ziglar told a lot of those.
And Rush Limbaugh right up until the end. I mean, he could have been fearful, reticent, and been like Howard Hughes and just retreated, but he didn't. And so the word for today is be strong in the Lord and the power of his might when God works through us. It's the fingerprints of God, his work through us, that matters for eternity. And that's how we make a great home, a great church, a great community, and that's how we end up with a great America.
Great America. Amen.
Amen.
See you next week.
See you next week.
This is Thursday, right?
It is Thursday.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.